Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Shuai Wang. A PhD student first year at major in energy and science and informatics at Ihara Manzo's Labo Department of the Chemistry Science and Engineer. I'm from the Science Tokyo. Mm, yeah. So the presentation title is a potential of the PV installation on building facade for optimizing Japan's energy system by 2050. So here is the outlook of the carbon neutral in Japan. The government of the Japan aims to achieve the carbon neutral in 2050 by using the 50 to 16% renewable energy into its power mix. So it's planned to introduce the simplified amount of the renewable energy, such as the power, solar power. So in Korea energy system, power generation is primarily centralized in rural area and the electricity supplied to the urban area with a high power demand through the transmission networks. So however, when construct the new PV power plants, the expansion of the power grid becomes necessary, lead to a significant cost increase. In the future, by installing solar panels on the urban buildings with the energy storage system to create a grid container distributed energy system, it's expected that the grid construct can be reduced, increase the larger scale PV installations. So to design the future energy system, our laboratory used only one bottom-up economic model in Japan that integrates the power grid models based on the PEMS model. We use the model to explore the economic combinations of the technology in the future. So by inputting over the thousands of the data sets, there is the clean power plant and the renewable energy power plant. We have optimizing the energy, consider the clean energy power source. So in my study, I want to optimize the future system, consider distribute the power source. So we should calculate the potential data of the installation on the buildings. So according to data from the government of the Japan, the PV potential of the building rooftop has been reported for each prefecture in Japan. The red line is indicated the power demand in 2023. The power generation potential from the rooftop is around 600 terawatt hour in Japan, cover about 74% of the electric demand. However, in the high demand, the 12 cities with the high demand area, such as the Tokyo area and the Osaka area, power generation potential on the rooftop can only cover the 7% of their electric demand. Therefore, roof only is the efficiency to fully meeting electric demand in the many areas. So there is necessary to consider the installation of the PV panels on the facade as well. At the Environmental Energy Innovation Building in Science in the Tokyo Tech, my university, Science Tokyo, at the PV plant is installing on the not only the rooftop but also the south and west facade in this building. So according the relay the relay real-time data, so the facade installation has doubled the annual power generation. Additionally, the generation peak time is different. rooftop peak at noon in the summer, and the south facade peaks at noon in the winter, and the west facade peaks in the afternoon during the summer. When the PV panels are installed on the rooftop, there's a significant fluctuation in the power generation due to the season and hourly change. However, generation peaks of the facade installation are distributed except to small of the power fluctuations. So additionally, past students have shown that installing PV panels and on the facade appropriate angle increase the power generation. However, we believe that the PV potential has been overestimated because panel size was not taken into the account. This due to the unable shielding that occurred from the near panels when the larger scale PV installation. Therefore, it's necessary to cater for the shadow from the near PV solar panels. So here's my study objective. So it's to calculate the realized PV potential for the building of the rooftops and the facade in Japan, including the effect of the shadow, both the basin and due to the other panels under different threshold of the LCOE. The first, I will introduce how to quantify the shadows between the panels on the facade. When making the installation distance based on the solar altitude, the larger of the tidal angles that yields are the highest solar radiation between the 16 to the 75 degrees. Due to the shorter light, the overhand lights is for the head and minimal shadow and adjust the title angle. So we decided the appropriate title angle is the 715 degree. And then we use the CAD to simulate modeling the the actually installed environment. The three panels installed at the 5 degrees on the facade. It's found the solar radiation on the panels is decreased by the 18% due to the near due to the shadow from the near panels. So then we use the geographic information system GIS to calculate the solar radiation in Japan. So first we extract of the building and create the power points on the front roof and the facade. Then we use the GIS calculate the building surround of the buildings and consider the effect from the other buildings. So after calculate the solar radiation, we determine the installable area. For the technology potential, we assumed that the PV panels could be installed on the second floor, include the window and obstructs. Then for the economic potential, we define the new threshold as of the LCOE. So this threshold is defined installable with LCOE belong this threshold. So largest threshold is mean the more power generation due to the more facade installation, but there's a less economic. So then we calculate the capacity potential and power generation potential and LCOE like this. Next, I will explain the result of the generation potential that result in Japan. So here is Here shows the threshold increase, the total generation also increased, but the generation per kilowatt hour decreased due to the increased installable area with the shadow. So it was found that the commercial red is a residential facade, and the orange is a commercial facade. It found the commercial and residential buildings generation increased sanctified until the threshold exceed 20 and 25 Japan kilowatt, after which the increase is very small. When the threshold sits at the 25 Japan kilowatt hour, the installed capacity of the facade reached 34% to the rooftop, and the power generation reached 13.5%. But the LCOE changes from the 18.8 to the 11.8. It's very small than the Japanese electric prices. Here is the 2023, the electricity, the 25th is very high. And then the graph shows the generation potential of the rooftops and the facade by the prefecture when the threshold is set as 25 Japan kilowatt. By the facade installation, the power generation increased to the 146% of the demand, and of the prefecture is exceeding the electric demand except Tokyo, and the most is a high the type prefecture with the high demand can cover the 124% of their power demand. So here is shows the main power flow in Japan. A challenge arose with the congestion drain due to the transmission of the electric to the urban area. Here is Tokyo. Here there is Osaka area. To address this, it's essential to impose the self-sufficiency rates of the urban areas. This figure shows the distribution of the net power generation, which is calculated by substandard power generation with the power demand. So compared to the distribute of the power generation with the rooftop installation only, and adding facade installation, significantly increase the net power generation in urban areas. So partially reduce the electric transmission from the other regional. Additionally, this data can be used built into a database that serves the essential fundamental data for the optimizing the energy system. So here is a short conclusion. We use the graphic information data to calculate the resistant PV potential for the facade in Japan. Consider the threshold and the shadow from the near panels. So here is the risk. By installing facade, we can increase large power generation and maintain low ranging LCOE. Then we compare with the demand, and it's expected to decrease the power flow to the urban area. So here the future work is inputting this potential data on the facade installation into the TAMS model to compare the capacity of the grid expansion and facade installation. So taking system cost into the consideration. Thank you for your attendance. You have a person. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A really, really interesting presentation. So thank you. If I understand it right, then on a overall aggregate basis, the solar potential when you take into account the installation of both rooftop and side solar panels, could make Japan more or less electricity self-sufficient on its current electricity demand. That's the general takeaway that I have. But clearly, there's a few questions underneath that I have.
Okay.
So clearly electricity needs to be matched instantaneously, and maybe the time when when the power consumption, it doesn't necessarily match the demand. Everyone comes down.
Yes.
But so that's one thing in terms of the way to balance. Yeah. And another one is what is the climate for encouraging or discouraging installation of solar within Japan? Is that an acceptable idea within the society? And one final question, what projection for demand do you have for electricity? Because most projections are to increase electricity demand over time as decarbonization pushes things towards more electrification. And just in terms of your analysis at the moment, are you assuming static demand or growing demand or falling demand? So anyway, quite a few questions, sorry. It's very interesting and positive, and thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So, I can't remember the question. The mountain installation.
So maybe there were three questions. Sorry to confuse you. So maybe just to start. I'm sorry. The first question.
Yeah.
Is it positively viewed by the authorities in Japan to install rooftop and solar panels on buildings at the moment? Is it supported by the government, or are people not happy to do it?
Nowadays, the current policy of the government is from the 2024 is a new building. It must be installing on the rooftop. It's a policy for the construction company. Yeah,
that's really good.
I think in the future we can consider the installation on the facade to do the.
That's good to know. And then the second question was about matching demand and supply instantaneously.
Yes.
Really, that's a super complex topic. But the good news is that the cost of batteries is reducing, and also technology is improving the ability to demand shift.
Yes.
In so many ways.
Yes.
Clearly the analysis you have is on an aggregate basis, on an annual basis, and matching these things needs to take into account the constraints, but it's very positive. I suppose that I don't know if you've considered that, but that's maybe just a point.
Yeah. Yes. I think I also think so. Yeah.
And then the last question was in terms of your assumptions on demand.
Okay.
Because whether you're assuming current demand in Japan, or whether you're assuming increases or decreases, just as a question.
It's about the demand.
Yeah. What is your demand projection?
Yeah, in many reports of the Japan government is forecast the future demand will be decreased. But actually in the latest 5 years, in this year is a very low years. So there is a decreased trend, I think. But the electric demand will be increased, but the electricity price will be increased, I think.
Okay. But in many places, the assumption is that electricity demand will increase, with the use of more AI and IT, but also with the move towards electrification to help decarbonization. So I suppose it's just a question why the Japanese assumptions are still reducing in that context.
Yeah, I think it.
But very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions here. One on the technology side, when you're saying the solar panels installation, which will help with energy generation and things like that, what kind of solar panels are you looking at? And looking at perovskite solar cells?
Okay, it's a very good question, and I think for the facade installation, the perovskite cell is very necessary. Yes, and in the future, the perovskite solar cell is not enough. I think there will be the perovskite silicon tandem solar cell in the future, because there is a high conversion efficiency.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I worked on the perovskite solar cells myself, and I was trying to commercialize it, but it's. Do you know where is that? When is it going to be possible to commercialize perovskite solar cells in tandem or just as a layer?
Oh, it's I think the perovskite solar cell will be you have to apply in nowadays Japan. So I think should be increased in the conversion efficiency with the tandem solar cell.
But when? Do you know when?
You say the when will be the tandem solar cell.
Yeah, when?
Oh. Actually, I have some research about that. I researched the in 2040. I think in 2040 the perovskite will be
Available.
Yes, available in the Japanese government report.
2040.
Yes.
So 16 years.
2040. Oh, sorry, I missed that. 2030.
Yeah, 2030 sounds more reasonable.
Yes.
2040.
Yes, sorry.
2030.
It's on Mars by 2040.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. In 2030, and the next step is by the 2050, we use the tandem solar cell.
Okay, interesting.
I have a very basic question, but do you take into account, you or even the Japanese government take into account what is the impact these solar panels? They have a life cycle. So you install it and it will last, I don't know how long they last, but is this taken into account, the recycling of the material?
Yeah.
The replacement, is that taken into account in the calculations for the decarbonization? Because essentially you install it new
Yes.
3 days, but there will be a day that the solar panel will die. And is that factored in? As part of, because you are decarbonizing, you are like producing energy will have a cost. Well, are the calculations factoring in?
Yes.
Like recycling costs or even
Yes.
disposal costs or impact to the environment?
It's very good comment.
We want everything electric, but then we have a lot of infrastructure.
Yes.
The moment that I don't know, windmill is going to rust, who's going to take it? And
actually, I think the current solar cell, maybe the lifetime is around 20 years.
20.
Yes. And maybe perovskite solar cell is more shorter than this, than the silicon solar cell. on the nowadays technology. So I calculate this the LCOE based the solar cell lifetime of the 30 years. So it's
30.
yes,
30.
yes. So
Yeah.
you know the cycling of the maybe the big problem. So
Well,
very
we don't know what the cost will be in 30 years.
yes. So yeah.
Because we
So-
don't know what plants or what facilities
Yeah.
we're going to have
Yeah.
in place to recycle.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's very
Arigato.
interesting.
Arigato.
Thank you very much.
There's some online questions. It's kind of a two-parter, but the first one is, do you think the Japanese government will push this technology forward? So,
Okay. I think that there is many renewable technology in the Japan or in the world. It's one is the solar power and one is the wind power. So in the Japanese government plan, the window power is only the 5%, and the solar power is 15% in 2030. So I think the Japanese government will be support more support to the solar cell than the window.
what kind of challenges are you considering when implementing this technology in Japan? Is into account or foreseeing, I guess.
What kind of challenging to Japan?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the bigger challenge is the totally cost, because if you want to make the cost solar cell in Japan is very high cost, so it's a problem, I think.
Any other questions?
Oh, okay.
I have one question regarding the power generation. As far as I'm concerned, three main power sources in Japan: coal, liquefied natural gas, and nuclear. They obviously have a huge amount of carbon emissions. So I was wondering, what do you think, like the potential of the renewable energy technology, like solar panel or hydroelectricity? If it's possible to replace all the like already available power sources like coal or natural gas with renewable energy sources like solar panel.
Okay. Yeah. You can yes, in my first introduce yes, of course the nuclear is a very important for Japan in the future, but you know the very terrible in Egypt, the nuclear terrible nuclear problem in Japan because the earthquake, so it's not safe for us. And this number is just only the lowest any renewal is the very lowest, I think. So there's in the future, I think the renewable energy will be more than this number. Yeah, it's also mentioned in the Japanese government report. Thank you very much.